All right, let's cut through all the financial noise. We're going to find the one signal that truly moves markets. We're talking about the exact dates in 2026 when everything, and I mean everything, can change in an instant. Think about it. Every single day, you're just bombarded with headlines, right? Markets up, markets down, this expert says sell, that one says buy. It's overwhelming, it's confusing, and let's be honest, most of it is just noise. It's just designed to get you to click. But what if the real story was way, way simpler? Well, it really boils down to this. You can get lost in the absolute chaos of daily headlines, or you can just focus on 8 specific dates. That's it. This is about choosing signal over noise. So to really get why these 8 dates are so critical, we've got to talk about the single most powerful force in the entire U.S. economy. And nope, it's not a company, it's not a politician, it's the Federal Reserve. And they control what is basically the master switch. And get this, the decisions that affect your mortgage, your savings account, the entire stock market, they're made by just 12 people. This group, the FOMC, they meet on a super predictable schedule only 8 times a year. That's it. And here's their main tool, the federal funds rate. Now, I know, it sounds really technical, but it's actually simple. It's the baseline cost of money. When the Fed flips this one switch, it sends a ripple effect through everything. Credit cards, car loans, business investments, you name it. This is the master switch in action. And this chart, wow, this shows you the raw power of that switch. See that incredibly sharp, steep climb? That's not an accident. That is the direct result of those 8 meetings a year. This isn't some abstract theory. It's a deliberate policy that changes the cost of money for literally everyone. And look, this isn't some number from a history book. This is right now. Every single financial decision being made today is anchored to a number just like this one. And that number is controlled by that tiny committee of 12. Okay, so we know who makes the decisions and the tool they use. Now, it's time for the big reveal, the exact schedule that the entire market is laser focused on. This is really the core of it all, so it's worth saying again. You can forget the daily chatter. For all of 2026, there are only 8 moments, 8 two-day periods where the fundamental rules of the market can get completely rewritten. And boom, here it is. This is the official FOMC meeting calendar for 2026. You got January, March, April, June, July, September, October, and December. This isn't some guess, this is the published roadmap. The markets know these dates, and believe me, all the big players are planning around them. Now, all 8 of these meetings are important, for sure. But 4 of them, they're on another level. So you're going to want to circle the meetings in March, June, September, and December. These are the ones that carry some serious extra weight. So you're probably asking, what makes them so special? Well, at these 4 meetings, the Fed doesn't just tell us their decision on interest rates. They also release their own internal forecasts for the economy. We're talking inflation, growth, unemployment. It is the closest thing we get to a blueprint for their future plans. Okay, so knowing the dates, that's step 1. But step 2 is knowing exactly what to look for when the day finally arrives, because there's a very specific, totally predictable flow of information. So here's the playbook. On decision day, at exactly 2 p.m. Eastern, the official statement drops. Boom, that's the headline number. And on those 4 extra important dates, those economic projections come out at the exact same time. Then you wait 30 minutes. At 2:30 p.m., the Fed chair comes out for a press conference to explain the why behind it all. And that's where the real clues are hiding. But hang on, there's one more crucial piece of timing that the pros watch. It's the period before the decision even happens. You could call it the calm before the storm. Take another look at that calendar. See those gray shaded boxes leading up to each meeting? Yeah, that's not a design choice. That is the official blackout period. What that means is during this quiet period, Fed officials are not allowed to talk publicly about policy. The information from the source just stops. And this silence is what makes all the speculation and anticipation build up to a fever pitch right before that 2 p.m. announcement. It really is the calm before the storm. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. We've gone from all that chaotic daily noise to a clear, data-driven compass that you can actually use. So here it is. This is your new compass. First, ignore the daily noise. Second, focus on these 8 dates. Third, pay extra attention to those four big ones in March, June, September, and December. Fourth, understand the power of that pre-meeting blackout. And most important of all, get your info straight from the source, the Fed's own statements, not what somebody else says about them.
And that really brings us to the final question. Now that you have the timeline, you've got the playbook, and you know the source of truth, what noise are you going to choose to ignore? What are you going to cut out so you can focus on the signal? That's the decision that really leads to clarity.